Hey, thanks for coming back. And in today's video, this is what I'm going to talk to you about today. The Rapoo C280 HD webcam. Right off the bat, you can see that it's very glossy front face on it. And yes, it'll attract fingerprints quite a bit. This little knob up here, as you can tell, is the privacy cover. That's the lens. And you just simply push it over there and so no one will see. This does rotate 360 degrees and there's a very little bit of tilt from side to side. Now the cable is 57 inches in length. Yeah, I wish it was about another foot longer than that, but it's only 57 inches in length. The lens, or the angle of view that this webcam has, is an 85-degree angle of view. So you're not going to get like that GoPro look with the fisheye effect, meaning how like sometimes everything looks a little curved on the edges. It's not that wide of a view. It's only 85 degrees, which for some people, especially for Zoom calls and Skype and things like that, it'll be just fine. It is plug and play. Nothing to download or install. And let's take a little bit more look around here. It has your traditional type of a mount on it right here. So like on your laptop would sit here and then you would just push this piece to the back to kind of keep it in place. There is a little rubber piece here that has some plastic film on it that you would have to peel off. And on the bottom, they actually have a tripod mount and rubber right here as well. And if you pull this little piece of plastic off, well, you can see what happens. I tried pressing on it really hard, doesn't go back on. That's why it's white. Now you do get, now the test video coming up, I used the Microsoft camera app. All right, that's built into the Windows operating system. And according to that, there's 3 resolutions. And even according to Rapoo, there's 3 resolutions. 720p, 1080p, and 1440p. All of them are 30 frames per second, at least in the camera app. This camera is compatible with Windows 7 and up, Mac OS 10.6 and up, the Chrome OS, and Android version 5 and above. You can use this. It is a fixed focus, even though in the description on Amazon it said autofocus. You'll see in the test video what I mean by that. It has auto light correction built into it, an omnidirectional noise reducing microphone, and pretty much that's about it. It is USB 2.0, by the way. So enough of me talking right now. Let me show you the test video. Okay, so what you are seeing is actual video from the Rapoo C280 webcam. And you are also hearing the audio coming in through the built-in microphone. By the way, I am about 3 feet away from the webcam, and if you get a little bit closer, this is what it sounds like. Now I know it may look a little washed out right now, but that's because not only do I have all my shades open, so you're getting the natural sunlight, but I got my 2 studio lights on. Give me a second, I'll be right back, and what I'm going to do is shut both of my studio lights off and just have natural sunlight coming in. Give me 1 second. Okay, right now, like I said, the only thing that I have for lighting is natural sunlight coming through my window over there and right to the side of me. There's no other lights on. The only light I'm going to turn on right now is an overhead light to kind of simulate what the average user of this webcam might do. They might just have like a light on in the ceiling or something like that. Give me a moment. Okay, now this is the video with just one light on, plus the natural sunlight coming in through the windows. Now I am recording this in its highest resolution, which is 1440p at 30 frames per second. I figured I might as well try to do the highest resolution for the example and test for you, just to see how it comes out. Of course, you do got a privacy cover, which just slips over like that. And of course, you slip it open just so you can use the camera. And this is what it sounds like. Now, of course, I am using the built-in camera app that's built into Windows. And yes, you can actually do quite a bit of adjusting. You can actually adjust the resolution of the camera, the brightness, and even autofocus, which they say they do have autofocus, and I'll be testing that in just a moment. But I am going to turn this down now to 1080p, so give me a second. Okay, now that you've seen it in 1440p at 30 frames a second, I turned it down to the 1080p 30 frames a second, and that's what you're currently seeing now. And the only other adjustment I did was I did lower the brightness down to -12 in the camera app that's built into Windows. I still got the natural sunlight coming in and a ceiling light on. That's it's a 100-watt equivalent LED light. Now, one of the things I noticed when I was doing a little bit of research on this, on Amazon it said it had autofocus, but when I got the instruction manual and was going through the instruction manual for the camera, it said fixed focus. So what I'm going to try to do now is show you the back of the box, which has kind of small printing. And I'm going to bring it in kind of close and give it a few seconds to see if it'll focus in. And obviously it's not focusing in, so it is a fixed focus camera. Give me another second. I'll be right back to show you what 720p at 30 frames a second looks like. Give me a second. Okay, right now you are seeing the video from the Rapoo C280 webcam in 720p 30 frames a second. I still have the brightness on -12 with only one light turned on and natural sunlight coming in. And this is the resolution, or how it's going to look if you turn the resolution down to 720p in whatever software that you're using. Once again, to reiterate, this is the camera app built into Windows. Give me another second. What I'm going to do is turn it up to the highest resolution with the same current brightness level set so you can see what that looks like. Give me another second. Okay, now you are seeing it back again in the 1440p 30 frames a second with the brightness level turned down to -12. Still the natural sunlight, one light on and the overhead light, and this is it. This is what it looks like. Now, I've been talking to you about 3 feet away from it. So now let me get a little bit closer. I don't think you're going to actually be this close to it. I think about the 2-foot mark, which is right about here, is pretty much where you're going to be, probably the standard user is going to be using anyway. It is an 85-degree angle of view. That's why you don't see the fisheye effect. You know how it rounds out on the ends, and it doesn't do that. Also, I'd like to make mention right now that this is a 3.7 megapixel camera or view that you're seeing right now. So this is what you should expect from this camera. Personally, I think it does really well. It could do a little bit better with the color correction, if you will, or light correction. But like I said, you can kind of adjust it a little bit with the camera app in Windows, which is really nice. And the only other thing I can say that will improve this camera is a longer cord or cable. Probably about another foot on it would do perfect. All right, let's get back to my final thoughts. Okay, I hope that video was a good enough test for you to judge whether you like this webcam or not. Now, I'd like to take this time right now and tell you that at the time of making this video, this was only $39.99 on Amazon. But here's a helpful little tip for you. If you don't want to spend the 40 bucks, well, put it in your list. Make a list on Amazon, put it in there, because I actually had an additional 10% off when I ordered this on Amazon. So it does on occasion go on sale, and I did get it for 10% cheaper. So you can do that. But like I said, for a $40 webcam, I thought that, or I believe this performs very well. Rapoo, if you happen to be listening, a little bit, there's two things I would suggest to make this webcam a little better. Number one, the cable length. Add another 12 inches to it at least. That would greatly improve this a lot. Especially for people who have their computers on the floor and they're trying to put it up on top of their, say, their monitor or something of that nature. Having that extra foot, maybe a little bit more than that, will be greatly beneficial. Secondly, the light correction. Everything in the test video, as you've seen, was a little bit washed out. It was a little bit bright. I mean, it looked pretty good when I didn't have any lights on and I just had the natural sunlight coming in. That was okay, but it's still a little bright-ish, if you ask me. Maybe, I don't know what you can do with that, but I mean, I know I can correct it anyway in the app and it made it a lot better, but maybe not so aggressive in the light correction. I'm not sure. But regardless, would I suggest or recommend you get the Rapoo C280 HD webcam? Yeah, I do. For 40 bucks, it actually works really, really well. It's going to be great for Zoom calls or Skype or doing those phone call things on Facebook. It's great for that. Great for you to do the schooling if they still do it at home. Great if you're working from home and you want something. If you don't want to have like something, the high quality resolution like you're watching right now through my Panasonic Lumix G6, and you don't want, this is great for that. I mean, it's good for that. If you want to get into like live streaming with a webcam, I would highly suggest the Fifine K432 webcam that I reviewed for you some time ago. I'll leave a link for that video down in the description below. I actually like the colors a lot better in that camera. The only thing about the Fifine K432 camera is it has a little bit of that fisheye effect. It's a really wide screen. I wish Fifine would come out with one that, if it's going to be a widescreen, you know, a wide angle of view, I wish there was an option to cut it down to like maybe a 90-degree angle of view. You know, so maybe you can switch, if you don't want to have that big open wide view, you can kind of condense it down. Wish they would do something like that. But otherwise, so far from all of the webcams I have reviewed on this channel, I still think the Fifine K432 webcam is the best one to get. I'm not taking away from this one. This one is really, really good. I think even the microphone is is really good on this. Yes, there's a little bit of a noise coming through on the microphone, but I think what I did is I had the recording level on my laptop turned up too high. I forgot to kind of adjust that. So I believe that's the problem. That little bit of noise you hear coming from there, that was my fault, not the camera. Regardless, yes, I highly recommend you get the Rapoo C280 HD webcam. Now, if you happen to like this video, please give it that thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget about the notification bell. It would really help me out a lot if you could share this video and maybe a few of my others on all of your social media sites. And until the next video, you, your friends, your family, and even your pets, have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.